It's a real attempt to plan for the future rather than let the future fall upon us and leave us in a quandary. You know, there are many options. There are many things we still need to explore with this, and we are still looking and exploring and studying. But I think stewardship calls us to plan for the future with all the realities that we know of. And the realities are coming very quickly. And I think to a large extent there's a big sense of denial in our Catholic Church. And the denial is that we're always going to be the way we are now. And that's just not the truth. It's never been the truth in the history of the church, and it's certainly not the truth now. When you got, in 5 years, you're going to see drastic changes in the number of priests. Because in 5 years, half of the priests will be at retirement age. Now, do you wait to then to plan, or do you plan now? What is more prudent? What is more in line with good stewardship? And so all of these things are all part of the picture.
Can I say something? You can all hear my voice. I think that one of the things that we need to consider is not only the priest mass liturgy thing, but we have a tremendous, vibrant faith community. Y'all are together. If you look at our religious ed program, you know, one of these days we need to have just a session where we can talk to you about what the curriculum is like. What are these kids going through? What are we trying to teach them? It's vibrant, and you have fantastic people teaching your kids. I'm utterly fantastic. Now, let's say that the priest doesn't get here but once a month. Well, what do we do with the kids? I mean, we still need to keep the faith alive. What did the communist countries do when their churches were all smashed? What did they do in the early days when we were all pioneers? The priest got there every 6 months, did all the baptisms, communions, marriages, whatever, but they had a vibrant faith Catholic community. So I think it's another point to consider, as well as, you know, the building for the church. I agree with Father Bob, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. If you choose not to build the building, it's fine, no problem. But the community is the thing I think that's, for me, the biggest value here. Somehow we'll always have you, Chris. Somehow.
Well said. Yes, sir, in the back.
Is there any difference in the cost between the two plans?
Is there any difference in the cost between the two plans?
Land acquisition, the rest of it.
The land acquisition is the main difference between the two. I would say that
That's what I was getting at. With the land added, how much more would this cost be?
well, I don't know what the land is worth.
Pick a number.
Pick a number.
Yeah, facility picks the number.
Huh?
Well, what is the tax? Gary, do you want to speak to that?
We've actually had a recent conversation with a gentleman that owns the property next door, and he is in a bit of a different situation than he was years ago. He's aware that he is no longer sitting on a gold mine in church. His assessed property value was $160,000. And as we all know, your assessed property value for your taxes is less than what the actual value of the home is. More importantly, he doesn't live there. He rents it out. It's his retirement income. So he's in a bit of a different position. So I'll just say that when we say it's being explored, it's being explored. There are some possibilities that I don't want to go into any detail because they're just ideas at this point. But it is a possibility, and we are exploring it. If we have more information, we'll present it later on.
So you're trying, the difference between the two plans is just the difference in the front.
And I think Scheme B is just a little bit less square footage. If I'm right about Scheme B, maybe 1,000 square feet less. So, you know, there's probably.
That's nothing.
There's probably another 100,000, couple 1,000 maybe. But statistically, they're both very close. Yes, sir.
Just want to make another comment too about the land next door and also anything that we do. I mean, I can't make a decision tomorrow and say, let's do it, and we all run for it and do it. Everything has to go through the diocese and through the bishop. And so we have to get approval to purchase the land. We have to get approval to make any concrete step forward in building. I even had to get approval even to do what you see here. And so decisions aren't made in a vacuum.